Hello, Miss Tanisha.
Yes, I am here. Hello.
Yay! Hello. What a snafu with Facebook this morning, huh? Hmm.
Yeah, Facebook, StreamYard. I mean, it was all the thing.
Yeah, we tried several different things in order to get this interview started. So, you know, as long as there are other alternatives, right? I mean, ultimately, if
We're
this
gonna make
didn't
it
work,
happen.
yeah, if this didn't work, I would have just moved over to Zencaster. I would have been like, you know what? Let's go there and let's do that there
We'll
because it's
figure it out.
cloud-based. Yeah, exactly.
We will figure it out.
We will get it to you. We will get you the audio that you desire and you need because creating content for your podcast is super important, right?
Yeah, yes, definitely. And hey, to make it
All right.
sound great, that's where you come in.
Well, thank you. But let's get started with you first, right?
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about you and your podcast and why you named your podcast the name it is.
Oh, so I got it. Dang. You're gonna make me go back and have to remember stuff. So, um,
Well, who are you?
my dogs just got real dumb. Oh, okay. They heard their daddy come upstairs. I'm sorry. So who am I? I am Tonesha Hyde, and I am a relationship transformation agitator. And I like that better than just saying I'm a coach or I'm a transformation coach or whatever. And I like it because it kind of gives you more of an idea of exactly what I do, how I work, and how and how it all comes together.
Mhm.
So yeah, I focus on relationships, your relationship with you, your relationship with other people, your relationship with stuff sometimes. And yeah, so that's how we do it. Um, you said, why did I name the podcast what I named it? I named it like that because a lot of the things that I focus on and that we center on or that we talk about, me and my clients, um, because I'm like I keep saying we, so yeah, but it makes sense. Um, is a lot to deal with a lot of inner things. How you talk to yourself, your inner monologue, your self talk. What are your thoughts sounding like? How do you work through whatever you might be dealing with and all of those things? And knowing that a lot of people, especially like business owners, and even some people that aren't business owners, people in their careers and things, that imposter syndrome pops up. All the I can't, maybe I shouldn't, I don't know if I can, all the things that we do to doubt ourselves.
Mhm.
Sometimes we just need somebody to let us know, or we need to get to the point that we realize that what somebody else thinks, or sometimes even how I'm trying to measure myself, is asinine. And so that's why I went with You Are Immeasurable. So it's a it's me telling you that you're immeasurable, but it's also a reminder, like, when you're looking at it or when you're looking for it or whatever, that you know what? Yeah, yeah.
I
My
love
worth
that.
can be measured. I'm fucking amazing.
And I've listened to every episode and it is amazing. You give some great tips in it too, right? Before I get started in some of the questions, I just wanted to make mention that You Are Immeasurable is not spelled the correct way. It's spelled the phonically way. So I just wanted to make
Right.
sure that everybody knows that.
The letter U, the letter R, immeasurable. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, excellent. All right. So
Mhm.
how many episodes do you have under your belt right now? Do you want me to tell you?
I think where we at? We're about 48, 47, 48. We're about, yeah. Yeah.
I
So
think
we're
I
almost
just
to 50.
Yep. I think
Yeah.
we just did 48. That'll be released soon. Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. Actually, I
Yeah.
think 48 will be probably released the same day this is. So, yeah, 48
Oh,
today, right? Yeah.
okay. Okay. So yeah, we're almost to 50. We're almost to 50.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, aren't we all, right?
Yeah, literally.
Because you are your main focus is Gen X. women, right? And so
Right. And
some
yeah,
of us are almost to 50.
yeah, we are right there, drop kicking the door.
Yeah. I wonder if you should maybe do an episode, your 50th episode about turning 50. I know neither one of us are 50 yet, but
But we're damn close.
yeah, it's that, well, it's that transition over. It's the second half, right? Which we all know is going to be better than the first half because at least I don't have to learn how to walk and crawl and eat.
That kind of depends on the day. And if my knees are cooperating.
No kidding, right? So that kind of brings up that topic, right? So I just kind of gave you an idea on your content and kind
Yeah.
of got your wheels spinning. So how do
Yeah.
you come up with all of the content that you have each week?
You know what? It actually is a couple different ways. I will say in the beginning, it was more difficult because I guess it's like anything new, you're trying to figure out like your flow in it.
Mhm.
And so at first I was like, okay, so I need to make this list of what I'm going to talk about, the order and all of that. Well, hey, my brain doesn't work like that.
Yep.
I like my regular, ordinary, everyday life, it doesn't work like that. And so I was trying to force myself, I'll say, into a box,
Mhm.
that and I don't think you didn't tell me that I had to do that. I don't think anybody told me that I had to do it. I guess it's just like one of those things that you feel like it should be structured in this way and whatever, whatever. So when I was trying to do it that way, it was, I'll say, definitely a lot more difficult than it is now. Now I really just take the things that maybe that I see on social media, or like things that people ask me questions about,
Mm.
conversations that I see like on Facebook or in my groups, things my clients are asking me. Because a lot of times, just like with everything else in life and in your day to day or whatever, you'll tend to hear the same thing
Mhm.
over and over. Like, you'll be like, okay, why is everybody talking about imposter syndrome this week? Why is everybody talking about, negative self-talk this week? And so, from that, it's like, okay, well, let me put it out there, how I feel about it. And then, how again, me being a coach and things like that. So let me explain how I've dealt with it, and then how I help my clients deal with it. So normally that's where they come from. And I found that kind of just let it flow like that, I do I will find myself doing like maybe 3 or 4 episodes at a time, because it's a natural, okay, it's a natural flow.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so then, you can piggyback off of it. Okay, well, yeah, well, this can lead into that, and that can lead into this, and this is a part of that. It's just a whole lot, I guess, less stressful when you do it that way.
Yeah, and I have noticed that sometimes you'll talk about a topic and then you'll go through a couple of episodes and then you'll come back and say, we talked about this in episode such and we're going to revisit some of that today. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant, because that is not only getting more content about that particular topic, but it's
Right.
getting them to go back to the old episode to listen to the old episode too, right? So
Yeah. Somebody might have taught me that.
So let me ask you a question though that I think that maybe people are struggling with is how did you come up with the content for the first 5 episodes, 10 episodes, 2 episodes? Did you already know what you were going to talk about, or was it just a struggle? Look at you're like, that was over a year ago. What are we talking about, Kim?
Right. Right. And I'm like, what were they?
Oh, I can actually pull that up on a different screen and I can let you know exactly what those first
Yeah,
ones
what were
were.
they? I think
Yeah.
I think they were like, okay, I remember sitting down and kind of like making a list of things that I felt like we were going, I would be talking about. And then I think I just kind of went with that. But something just in, me being me, I may have like several things written down or several things that I'm thinking about, but it's when I start talking, that's when it's like, okay, so yeah, let's cut this off right here, and then we can take this and make it another one, and then I'll talk about that there. Because usually once I start talking, then I've got 12 billion things that are running through my mind that I want to try to get in here, but then it's like, no, remember, 15 to 20 minutes, stop, you got to cut it off.
Now, do you make notes when you are recording so that you'll remember to talk about
No,
that? No, just all in your head,
no.
huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because again, if I'm trying to read it, if I'm trying to, it won't flow for me. I know that some people do that, but for me, it won't.
Yeah. So when you come up with the content, do you create an outline for yourself, or do you just go boom off top of your head?
So, well, I'm gonna say sometimes I do. Sometimes I do if I know that there are specific things that I want to make sure I don't forget to say.
Yep.
Then yeah, I will.
Oh, she's trying to make me look bad.
Hello, AJ. AJ has been a guest on your show, right?
Yes. Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, notes for them shows. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get me. Yeah.
So I did just look up your podcast, your first 5 podcast names, the
Okay.
episode names, and they are You Bullying Yourself? The Greatness in You, Kicking the Perfectionist Demon, 100% Authentically You, and Letting Go of Learned Habits. So those
Okay.
were all released last July of 2022. And my question to you is, how did you come up with those names?
I know that all of those things were definitely on my list of these are the things that I want, the topics basically that I want to make sure, that I'm introducing. And usually the titles, honestly, they just come to me.
I love that.
And it'll usually be in something that I say while I'm talking. And so yeah, I just kind of go with that and still try to, or if it's something that I'm like, you can change it if if you think it'll be something better. I couldn't settle on something. And so I'll kind of be like, yeah, I don't know what to call this one. Help me out. But yeah, usually it comes because whatever, something I said or something like that.
Yeah, that's great. So another question about your content is, have you ever needed to take a break from your podcast?
I didn't necessarily need to. I did do a season, like a break from season 1 to season 2. Again, still at that point, I think I was just still trying to fully get the flow, because it was one of those things that, which I think is kind of like the whole working from home or being an entrepreneur or whatever. It's that whole, you got to get past, why does it feel like I'm talking to myself? Because it very much felt like that for a little while in the first season last year when I started it. And it was like getting the whole really just like, okay, just talk. And I think we talked about it before that, finally I'm like, okay, quit worrying about the whole, you feel like you're talking to yourself, because you're not, number one, goofy. But so from there it's like, okay, finally settling into it and like, all right, so I'll just close my eyes and then I talk.
Okay.
And so I don't think it was so much I needed a break, but I think that I did need to take that little bit of time to finally be like, okay, are you going to do this or are you not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because who just wants to continually struggle through the whole whatever. So
Yeah.
And then I think this time, when we came back, I'm like, okay, I'm good now. I got it now.
Yeah, it does take a little bit of looking at the screen and like talking to yourself. It's like that stream of conscious, and trying to get out all of your conversation and everything. So that actually brings up a good point. Now, do you live stream your podcast episodes to your group when you do it every time or just sometimes?
Just sometimes.
Okay.
Just sometimes. Like if it's something, like I said, that keeps coming up in like conversation or questions or things like that, or somebody in the group has asked a question and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, this would fit. This would be a good, podcast episode. Then yeah, I'll do it like that. But everyone know. And really that's because, like I said, the ideas come to me randomly. So it could be 2:00 in the morning, it could be 10:30 in the evening, it could be, any of the, so yeah. And usually, and again too, knowing myself, when they come, I got to do it now or I'm gonna forget.
Yeah,
because my mind will go down this whole, shebang, and then I'm trying to get it all back later and I have no idea what I was thinking.
So you're talking about your content being very organic, right? It's kind of comes to you, you record. So how does that work with your consistency flow? Because you have released an episode every week, except for the little time that you were on hiatus right after, I think basically the month of January, I think, right? Of this year, I think.
Yeah.
So if you are doing this organically, how do you, as a person, as a mom, as a businesswoman, as all that, how do you manage to say to yourself, I have to be ahead because I need to give this to my producer. I need to make sure that it's moved on. How do you come up with that content if you're doing this organically?
I think it's easier that way because, like I said, usually when I haven't, when something comes to me or I have an idea, then usually it's compounded. So it ends up being 3 or 4 things. So so I'll just, record them, boom, boom, boom.
Nice. Yeah, batching is great, isn't it? I mean, it's great for you. It's great for someone like myself. It's great for just, if you wanted to take a week off in the middle of the summer and you know that you've already batched a couple of episodes, I'm done.
Yeah, you're good. The the only thing is for me, sometimes I forget, okay, how many did I do? How far ahead am I? Where am I at? Or forgetting like where or when they're gonna, when they're gonna release. Because it's like, because to me, I've already said this, or I've already to listeners, no, it hasn't happened yet, ma'am. And so I have to remember, oh yeah, that's gonna be in 2 weeks. Oh yeah, that's gonna be, that type of thing. Like to the point that sometimes I actually have to go back and listen when they release because I don't remember what I said.
So that brings up another good topic. Do you listen to your own podcast every week? Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
If not every week or not, or like I said, a lot of times I find that the topics, they kind of, in and out, back and forth, because these pretty much the things that I'm talking about in relation to, primarily your relationship with yourself. Yeah, I talk about other relationships in my coaching, but for the podcast, I do talk about them and how they relate to us, us, our self-image, our self-worth, our, self-esteem, and those things. So, when these things keep coming up and all this and other, than I try to be like, okay, well, did I just talk? I feel like I just talked about that. So I'll even go back and, if they haven't dropped yet, then I'll go back and listen to the recordings that I uploaded and like, okay, what did I say?
I imagine
I'm just saying, just because you don't want it to seem like you're saying the same thing over and over and over again. Even if you are, or even if it's the same topic, it's usually, a point that maybe I hit it real quick and then went on to something else. So, like you were talking about before, if I'm going back, sometimes it's okay, let me elaborate on this right here. I mentioned it, but we didn't really get into it. So let me, really get into this.
I love that. Going back to listen to your content to actually get more content, right? So coming up with even more from, from old content. I love that. That's actually really a great tip for people to try to figure out what kind of content they might want to come up with. So, yeah. I know that we did touch upon a little bit like how you came up with your first, your first couple. And they just came to you. They just kind of like something that you wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah,
If you had
those
any Yeah, if you had any tips for anybody struggling with trying to come up with their first, say, 10 topics, 10 content, do you have any tips for somebody that is struggling with that?
I would definitely say think on things or be open to talking about the things that you're passionate about. Because especially if it's like just your podcast, you're not on camera or whatever. All people have is your voice. And if it's just something like, and again, that's part of the reason that I don't like script it out, because I never want it to sound like I'm reading off of a piece of paper. Or like, it's an old school TV show and somebody's holding up flashcards and I'm trying to read it. I never want it to sound like that, right? So I would say definitely think on the things that you really love to talk about, or the things that you really like to delve into and explain to people. Not so much things that you practice, because again, it can get to the where you're blah 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 blah, and no, you don't want to listen to that. So you don't want, your listeners aren't going to want to listen to that either. So just definitely talk about things that make you excited or that you're passionate about. Yes, things that you know about, but I guess in some cases that really doesn't even matter. People just be talking. But
True. But I think you're right in that effect, where if you are excited about it, people can hear the excitement and then people want to know more. And then it's just a snowball effect, right? Because you're excited, you know it. And when you know it, it just flows so much easier.
It does.
Yeah, some people can baloney around it, but if you know it, you don't do a lot of, although I say you don't do a lot of tripping over your words, but I did my first, well, not my first, but I did my first Facebook Live fail the other day. And I could not get my words out to save my soul, but I know what I'm talking about. Just it was
and that happens. That does happen. And I think, like, for me, because a lot of these things, are very much an emotional thing for me, a spiritual thing for me. So you can tell that, when I'm really in there, that I'm excited about it and stuff. And because of that, again, always with the thought that, okay, you can't talk for 37 hours, it's okay. What do I definitely want to get in here? What do I not want to let myself go down the rabbit hole in, and those type of things. But then sometimes you can't always stop it or whatever. And I found that, okay, sometime, you might have an hour and a half conversation or recording. Well, hey, that can be 2 or 3 episodes.
That's true. Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
So, looking at it like that, and again, think about it and make sure that that what you're doing really does let people see you. Because otherwise they're going to be like, yeah, I don't know. if especially like, if you're to be the authority on whatever it is that you're talking about, then it needs to sound like you care.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
You don't want it to come off, I just do this for the check, or I'm just here so I don't get fired.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So most of your episodes are solo. but you've had a couple of interview episodes. So
Hmm.
what made you bring in a couple of interview episodes? Was it lack of content or something else?
No, it wasn't lack of content. It was in some of, let's hear what somebody else has to say, or
Love that.
get additional input from the other side.
Yep.
Like the episodes I did with my husband. Um, we were talking.
I think it was around Valentine's Day, so I think you were talking about love.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I was trying to remember. Trying to remember the
Hmm.
titles. And just, again, I focus on relationships
Hmm.
and speaking on and talking a lot about, you know, how we handle ourselves.
Yeah,
That translates, and it transfers to every other relationship that you have in your life.
true.
Your intimate relationships, your work relationships, your relationships with your kids, your parents, all of that. It all, it's all one thing. It all works together. Well, I mean, not one thing, but you get what I'm saying. And so, with that also, I wanted people to see that I'm not just blowing smoke. I'm
Hmm.
not just talking out the side of my neck. Yeah, I do have a significant other, and he's just as goofy as I am.
Yes. Yes.
But
But
there's
that's,
lots of serious conversations that
yeah,
we have. We've
yeah,
known each other since we were teenagers.
I love that. I have actually too. I met my husband when I was 16.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I know there's a double-edged sword with that. I know that you were not married to age 8. You actually just got married last year, right? You coming up on your 1 year
Hmm.
anniversary soon?
Yep. Next month in July.
Congratulations.
I like July for
Nice.
some reason,
I
apparently.
love it. Congratulations. That's awesome. So there's something to be said with, having those life experiences to help you with your content, to help you with what you
Hmm.
do specifically too. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know that you could definitely, well, I don't know that you could be a life coach at 17. I'm not sure. You could be a TikTok coach at 17.
You haven't even
Oh,
lived
sure.
yet. I mean, how often do we tell our kids that you have no clue what's going on? Get
Yeah.
somewhere, shut up, and sit down. You're
Yeah, I
clueless.
know. I know.
You have not lived yet.
Yes. It's definitely a different thing, not to get off topic here, but definitely a different thing with my son came home from the military and he's just like, not that he's a different kid, he's not, but he's just more worldly. He knows a lot more things. He's more
Hmm.
appreciative of what he has after being in the military, right? He's like, "Oh yeah,
Hmm.
I get to
Hmm.
drive mom's car every day," rather than
Right. Right.
so, yeah, all
Yeah.
right.
So you gotta. It's all about the experience. You gotta go through something. At
Yeah.
16, 17. Yes, there may be. Not saying that some haven't been through some things. I mean, we've been through some things even by that age. But for the most part,
Yeah.
yeah, no, you're a kid. You're just a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah. All right, I am just going to check real quick to see if anybody had any questions for us in
Okay.
the chat room here. I know that we're not live. We had to record this, which is perfectly fine. So now you record your episodes and you actually tell me your process. You know what? Tell them what your process or what our process is together. How do you go through step by step from thinking about what you're going to record to the very end? How do you do it? What is on
Okay.
your task list?
Okay. So yeah, what's on my task list? I don't even know.
Regarding your podcast for from
Oh,
beginning
okay.
to end.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So depending on, like I said, depending on what it is, a lot of time I'll go with something that has been in conversation or been around me, the last week or so. If it's something that I need to nail down specifics that I may, go check something out, watch some videos. I will read 2 or 3 books
Okay.
because it's like, okay, I know what this is, but I need to be able to explain it to other people. This is how
Sure.
I understand it. I got to be able to explain it. And so, if it's something that I need to do all of that, and then usually I might, like I said, if there's things that I want to make sure that I get in there, then I'll write them down and all of that. And then usually from there, okay, cool. Everybody be quiet, leave me alone. I'm about to record.
Yep.
And so I record everything in Zoom. Yes, sometimes I record it with video, sometimes I don't. Because
Okay.
again, I usually my flow is I close my eyes and just talk. So y'all don't want a recording of me sitting there with my eyes closed talking. And then from there, then I download it and then I upload it to you in your CRM. And then if I need to do anything else, you'll let me know. Other than that, I'm on to
Perfect.
the next one or on to the next three or, over here living my best life because my podcast producer and manager is freaking amazing.
Aw, I wonder who that is.
Yeah.
You're awesome too. Thank you for letting me work on your podcast. I appreciate it.
Oh, look, like I tell you this all the time. Without you, I wouldn't. No, it wouldn't even be there because I think what was it? Because we had the conversation, which is when you were like, "Yeah, you're doing this." What I had the idea, like, 2 or 3 years before I actually,
Yeah.
met you, started talking to you, and all of that, and it was just it. Yeah, I have the knowledge, I have the information. I can probably talk to anybody about anything, even though I'm a ridiculously sensitive introvert. But yeah, I can definitely talk to people and stuff. But yeah, all of that, no, that is not my thing. That is not my jam. I can do it. I can figure it out, but it would take half my life.
Oh, no,
And so y'all
no.
get an episode every 6 months.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah,
One a
that's not
year.
consistent at all.
No. So yes,
That's
my
awesome.
my podcast has life because of Kim.
Well, thank you. That's so sweet of you to say. So, how can people find you? Where should people go looking for you? And are you taking on new clients? Tell me all those things.
I am some of everywhere just because I'm sporadic. Uh,
Yep.
um, and let me see. So I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Both of those are at Favored Coach. Favored has a U in it, guys. Um, yeah. I'm on LinkedIn, kinda, sorta.
Hmm.
I'm working on, expanding that, but yeah, that's not my go-to right
Hmm.
now. Saying TikTok, I'm there, but again, it's not a focus right now. Um, but yeah, definitely Facebook, or Instagram. You can message me. Um, yeah,
Great. All those places you get your content ideas from. Yeah,
yeah,
I love it.
yeah. That's
I
that's
love it.
that's pretty much it. I'm
Perfect.
everywhere, somewhere, sometimes.
And any new programs or anything coming up?
I did decide actually yesterday.
Ooh, this is new. Okay.
Yeah, it's like literally I decided to do it yesterday, because I kept getting people asking me when I'm gonna do another workshop.
Hmm.
And so right now I'm kind of, because I normally do them, around the same time every month. Well, I just did one, my change my way, or change my way workshop. I was gonna say your what? Anyway, I did it the first week of June. And so, but I didn't want to do it again the first week of July. That's the holiday. No, and so I'm like, I don't know, but then I didn't want to wait too long. So anyway, so what I decided to do was, because hey, we record everything, right? So I decided that I'll just, hey, if you want the workshops, hit me up. I give them
Nice. So
to you.
they're evergreen now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
They're evergreen. So you just
yeah, and
created evergreen workshops.
right.
Nice.
And so that way, you don't have to always wait until I do another one,
Yeah.
so yeah, so like I said, I just decided to do that yesterday. So
Okay.
both my Hoarder's Hoard workshop and
Nice.
the Change My Way workshop, yeah, you can get those. What I decided to do with them is the Hoarder's Hoard workshop. I decided, nothing too major, $17.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to Change My Way, because it was 3 days, 37. And if you want
Nice.
them both, you can get them both for 47.
Excellent. Well, that's a discount too. Nice. I love it.
Yeah, plain
Love
and
it.
simple. Yeah. And
Okay.
again, because I don't want to have to make people wait, so
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
you go. If you missed it, okay, it's cool, you missed it, but here you can still get it. I am doing a shadow work for beginners challenge next
Okay.
week in my free Facebook group.
Nice.
It's going to be all week, every day. We're going to do a little bit of something, give a little, like a little step, a little tidbit, a little, way to implement this or whatever. And because I'm a little neurotic, I created like I think it ended up being 111 pages when I got through with it.
Whoa.
A journal for the challenge. So everybody's
Nice.
going to get the PDF journal, um, writing prompts and suggestions and things like that to go along with the challenge to help them really get in there.
And when does
Yeah,
that
so
challenge start?
it starts the 26th, Monday.
Okay. Monday. Okay. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
if you are listening to this on my Facebook group, you can get in there right away. Tanisha's going to give me a link to that. And if you're listening to this on Tuesday when the podcast drops, then you are going to be a day late, but you can still get in.
You can still get in. You can still get in. Absolutely, absolutely. And again, it's in my free Facebook group, Owning Your Season. Yeah, that's what I've got going on right now. I still have the beta 6-week program for Change My Way. It's still in beta. I haven't decided when I'm gonna take it out of beta yet. I
Okay.
already have really enough case studies, but
Yeah, it's
I just
okay.
like it. I
Yeah.
like it. So I'm
Excellent.
having fun with it, and the feedback has been great. So it's still in beta. So yeah,
Perfect.
6 weeks, 1-on-1 still at the moment.
Nice.
What else do I have going on? I want to do a membership. I'm gonna do a membership too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be on my list very soon as well. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll have to kibitz about that some more. See what we can come
Yeah,
up with.
yeah, yeah.
Other than your own podcast, do you listen to any other podcasts that you can recommend right now?
Oh my goodness, so many.
Just the first one that pops off top of your head. What do you got?
The first, oh man, I know the girl's name, but I don't know the name of her podcast. Her name is Stephanie McKenzie. I
Okay.
can't remember the name of the podcast though. Let me see if I can find it really, really fast. She is great. She is really, really great. She talks a lot about helping people come out of people pleasing and those types of behaviors. When
Okay.
people start making you feel guilty and you start laxing on your boundaries and all of those kind of things. Yeah, she's really, really good. I listen to a lot of Gen X podcasts because they are hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And we refuse to grow up. So
Yeah. That's because we didn't have a childhood, right?
exactly.
So we're still kids at heart.
We are. It's terrible. And then I recently also started listening to a couple marketing podcasts. I listened to them. It's still not clicking in my brain, but we're still working on it.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit. Absolutely. I am definitely one of those people where I hear something and it needs to sink in. Like it sits like top
Yeah.
level, and then it just
Yeah.
needs to like slowly like dive.
Absorb.
Yes, exactly.
Like, remember
Exactly.
those commercials when we were kids when they put a sponge in something and you watch it go up? It's kind of like that.
Yeah,
Definitely like that. That's how my
yeah.
brain works.
Yep, I hear you. All
But
right, well,
yeah,
thank you so much, Tonesha. I really appreciate you spending the time to, go through all of our hiccups at the beginning and come on. And actually, you're going to be my very first guest on my podcast. So,
hey.
there you go. Perfect. So thank you very much. And I will make sure that I add all of your links to my show notes and all of the links to the recording after I do some editing on this, as we had a
Definitely.
special guest pop in right in the middle.
Which
And
is
then
my life.
when you see it, if there's any other links you want to add, please drop those right in the group so that I can add them to
Okay.
the show notes too. So,
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
definitely. This was great. This was
Awesome.
great. This was great. This was great.
Thank you.